Puchong MP Gobind Singh Deo today filed a suit against Parliament Speaker Sri Pandikar Amin Mulia and 3 other defendants over his 1-year suspension from Parliament, which also includes removal of his allowance and benefit as an MP.
Nazri Aziz because he moved the motion, Speaker because he is the person that did not allow me to speak. The Secretary of Dewan Rakyat because the Secretary of Dewan Rakyat is the person that wrote to me informing me of the fact that they are going to enforce this order against me, and of course the government of Malaysia because Datuk Sri Nazri Aziz is the minister in the Prime Minister's department.
This is the first time in Malaysia an MP has taken legal action against the Parliament Speaker. Gobind says his suspension is unconstitutional as he was not given the chance to defend himself.
When I stood up to defend myself, the Speaker refused to allow me to defend myself. Now we question that. Is it proper? If the Constitution guarantees that no person shall be punished without being heard, then we say that what the Speaker did was unconstitutional, as a result of which the entire proceeding, my suspension, is void. Now the second aspect of it, I think, is one of significance as well. It relates to my remuneration. Now under Article 64 of the Federal Constitution, there is specific provision that members of Parliament shall be remunerated. Right? And there's an Act of Parliament which has been designed or devised for that purpose, which is the Houses of Parliament's Remuneration Act. Now it's our view that the Dewan cannot, by way of a motion, pass or by way of motion prohibit something which a member of Parliament is constitutionally entitled to. So in other words, the Constitution says that we are entitled to remuneration, then you cannot, by way of a motion, move something which is against the Constitution.
Gobind was suspended from Parliament on 16 March after alleging and pressing for answers in the August House that a high-profile government politician was involved in a widely publicised murder case of a Mongolian model. Opposition MPs then staged a walkout from the Parliament, disagreeing that because Gobind was not given the chance to defend himself.
Can members of Parliament operate without fear or favour? Right? If they are subject to this kind of treatment by the Barisan Nasional majority. Now a lot of members of Parliament are full-time politicians. They rely on their remuneration as members of Parliament. Now do we expect them to perform without fear if they know that anything they say could bring about consequences such as what happened to me?
Gobind's father, Bukit Gelugur MP Kapal Singh, who is also a lawyer, says the federal court's decision last week in the suit brought against Perak Assembly Speaker V. Sivakumar has set a precedent for Gobind's case.
We have a precedent in the case of Sivakumar. In fact, the federal court has opened the floodgates, and any member of Parliament who is aggrieved by any decision of Parliament in the chamber has a right now to ask for declarations. What are the parameters? In this country, Parliament is not supreme.
The suspension of Perak Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Zamri Abdul Kadir and his 6th executive councillor by Sivakumar was lifted by the federal court after ruling that the suspension was beyond the Speaker's power.